Hey everyone, Froe here for another vanilla-ish Let's Play episode. How's it going today? Hopefully things are going well. We worked on this item dispensing system last episode, so we have 2 items that can dispense from dropping items into the corner here, and 2 different ones from there, and then the torches and the ender pearls. To demonstrate, we're going to just drop a piece of stone there, and in theory, we should get 8 steak from that. So there we go, we had 32, now we're at 40. If I drop a couple stones in, we'll get, multiples of 8. So let's see how many we get there. So 53. Yeah, so that's not a multiple of 8. So that is a problem. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But another demonstration is if you throw a non-stackable item in, then you should get stone. Right, so now we're getting a whole bunch of stone in our inventory. Like I said, though, there's a little bit of a problem with the system, and you can kind of see it right there. The steak is stuck. And I've been sitting here trying to debug it. By the way, I went through and I prettied this area up a little bit. It's still not perfect, but, it's the basement. No one really cares about what the basement of your house looks like. When items drop into this item stream here, they gain momentum, and they gain momentum that way. And the problem is they keep that momentum as they go into the vertical water column, causing them to spill into the dead space we have right there. And I'm stuck. I guess an easy solution might be just to have this water stream come in from the other side. I don't think that would matter that much. Alright, I think all we have to do then is put a piece of water right there, and it's going to flow this way, and we can close all of this up. I think that's going to work then. All we have to do to test it out too is just throw a piece of item in there. See, does it flow on up? Oh, of course, though, we don't have the water. Whoops, we don't have the water in the actual thing anymore. I took it out. But it does reach there, so that's good. It should work then. And let's go ahead and give it one more little test here. And it looks like... Yep, there they go. They made it up. A little bit slower, though, than I wish, but that's just kind of the way it has to be for now, I guess. Let's test it from up here now. So we have 23... Let's just drop over our steak off. And we just throw an item in the corner, and we should get 8 steak if things are working the way they're supposed to. Oh, that is a little bit slow now. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. Hey, what are you doing here? No one invited you. Ooh, stone? Yeah, none of these are really that good. Oh my goodness, go away! Ugh. Literally, like, I've had like 8 wandering traders show up while I'm working on this project. Alright, we're moving on to plan B then, which is going to be having just 2 normal blocks here instead of ice. See if that helps at all in any way. Then the last one, if this doesn't work, so we can test it out actually. Oh, we gotta get soul sand down there first though, and water. Oops, getting ahead of myself a little bit. Let's try this. Throw some items in. It seems like they're not getting stuck anymore. It seems like they're slowing down enough now. Let's try it with actually dispensing the steaks now too. Oh. Uh-oh. They might not have enough momentum now. Yeah, they didn't have enough momentum, so I replaced these with blue ice again. And I guess the last thing I wanted to try as a potential fix here is making this come out a little bit. So like when the items enter the stream, they're pulled that direction just a bit. That might be the last way we can go. And that'll actually work too. That'll make it so they don't get stuck on the trapdoor as much either. So we're going to have just like the water come out just a little bit so the current pulls them this direction when they're in there. Let's see if that fixes it then. So let's go ahead and give it a good old test. I didn't see any of them get stuck. Let's check it out up atop. Up atop. Oh man, I need to learn how to speak. So I got 28. Okay, let's test it just a handful of times too. Ooh, one thing I didn't consider though is maybe this other side doesn't work anymore. Uh-oh. Yep, doesn't work anymore. Alright, I think I got it this time, so let's just throw a handful of stone on in. Let's see, we should get a whole bunch of steak now. Good stuff, it's a multiple of 8, so that's perfect. We could do the same for stone. Should get, like, should get a whole stack. So there it is. Yep. We can do this with torches. We should get 32 of them. We have 26. There you go, 32. And then also ender pearls, we should get 16. Perfect. Yeah, that works really well. Over here, I think I only have scaffolds hooked up. Maybe. I don't have the other one set up yet. Yep, just scaffolding. But it comes pretty quick now. The solution was actually pretty easy. All I did was I lowered the water stream 1, and then I did the water current this direction 1 as well, but it's 1 block lower than it was before, so that this side doesn't get caught in it. And that's all it took. So now we got the item dispensing system working pretty darn well. The goal with this was to make it so, I mean, it's the basement, so it doesn't have to look like super pretty, but I wanted to make it so I could easily access all the chests so that we can easily add items to the system. And it doesn't, like, I don't want it to be completely ugly. So like here are all the stone storage. Here's the scaffolding. This would be steak. And then I have nothing in this part of the system yet. And then this is ender pearls and torches. It's, you know, it's cleaned up pretty well, but you know, it's not the prettiest. I kind of like the redstone just being out in the open too, though. Like here I have it encased and that looks pretty neat. And then over here it's just out in the open and that's kind of cool too, because it's all following a pattern. So it's mirrored on the other side the same. So just, it makes a cool aesthetic. I also worked on the bamboo farm between episodes. So let's check this out. Go and flick it on. Works a lot better now. The problem before was it was wasting a lot of bone meal because we only had one observer system. So like when this middle one grew to the top, then it would harvest everything. But if these other ones grew to the top, nothing happened. And the problem with that is if bamboo has nowhere to grow, bone meal will still activate on it. So I was wasting probably like 30% of my bone meal or more. And I also lowered the observers down a little bit to compensate for the time it takes for the harvester to harvest and the bamboo to grow. So yeah, it works a little bit better now. I also fixed the furnace system just a little bit. So when we run out of bamboo up here, it's going to activate the farm automatically. So we have a buffer storage system there that it's drawing from. And then once that buffer system runs out, then it'll turn the farm on. Let's see if we can make that happen actually. So now you notice the farm turned on automatically because the buffer ran out. It's not a perfect system still, but it's a little bit better. Anyways, guys, let's move on to something else for today. And we can't dilly-dally around too much considering we got all of this stuff to work on still. But you know, with so many different projects to be working on, it's hard to prioritize which ones to do. Like, do we start with the mob farm and finishing this up? Or do we work on the EXP farm and try to get this all polished up and looking kind of nice? But then also, what about this storage room? Should we spend some time finishing this up? Man, what do we do this episode? What do we do? And not to add more pressure to the decision, but we do have something pretty big planned coming up here. A certain tour of our world here is in order soon. But honestly, guys, I really can't make the decision alone. I'm gonna need some help with this one. So we're gonna leave it up to chance this episode to see what we're gonna do. Now then, no crying or whining if you don't get the project that you wanted me to work on. Remember, this is all up to random chance. All right, here we go. Go ahead and give it a little press in. And what did we get? Tree farm. Huh. All right. That's not too bad. I think we can do that. All right. So I actually didn't plan on doing the tree farm today at all. I actually didn't have any plans. So that was completely random. So I just have a whole bunch of supplies now. And we're going to just go find a random spot in the island here and build a tree farm. I'm not sure. Oh, come on. Come on, guys. I really don't like this bug where they will like get stuck on following one llama and will never stop unfollowing him. Anyways, I guess there's, oh my goodness. These leads don't do anything. There's two different kinds of tree farms we could go for. We could go for like a big encompassing one that is kind of just manual where you know, plant a sapling and you go around and chop it and it's super simple to set up. It just takes up a lot of area. The other option is to build one that is a little bit more automated. And I think we're going to do an in-between model. I don't really have an idea yet. So I just grabbed a bunch of, you know, like a bunch of everything in case we decide to go one way or the other. You know, a good rule of thumb if you are ever stuck on where to build something is just do it randomly. So let's do it right here. This will be where we put our tree farm. Go ahead and plop those guys there. Let's get ourselves set up. This is actually good though that we're building a tree farm, because normally I just plant a bunch of trees in our ranch, and then I actually end up killing a bunch of cows when I do that. When the trees grow, they suffocate. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. So the farm's going to be an oak and birch tree farm, and it's going to limit the height that they grow. I think we're going to want hidden storage for saplings and bone meal. I think we're going to have a separate area for auto growing and automatic sapling collection. And finally, we want to have a large area to plant many saplings at once. All right, so what I want is to make it so if we plant a sapling, a dispenser will turn on automatically, causing it to grow. And then also, like once we chop it down and the saplings drop down, it'll also automatically pick them up. All right, so we're going to try to keep things kind of hidden as much as possible. So I think if we put the sapling here, we would have the observer watch the sapling like that, and then a dispenser off on the side. I think, well, let's just double check that a tree can grow when we do that. Oh yeah, okay. I was kind of worried. I wasn't sure if it could or not. Aha! So I learned something new today. Saplings actually have growth stages too. I always thought that it was just not the case. I always thought that they were just a sapling and then they randomly grew. But it turns out when you do that, it updates to another growth stage sometimes randomly. And when it does, it actually sends out another block update for the observer to see, which causes this to kind of happen. If you noticed, we don't have a clock running. It just got updated a couple times by the fact that the sapling updated to a new growth stage. I'm curious how many block updates there are when you grow a sapling. So we're going to use a dropper to count. So we're just going to plop a sapling, grow it, and then harvest it. And that was a total of 4 block updates. Okay. All right, so it's a little bit complicated, but basically every time there's a block update, then one of these wooden hose will end up in the hopper. And after 4 updates, they drain back into the dropper, which causes the system to reset, basically making a loop that does different things depending on the number of hose in the dropper or hopper. So let's just demonstrate. We plant a sapling and the farm will turn on automatically. And if you notice, a couple hose went in here automatically, but the clock didn't turn off the way it's supposed to. In fact, if you notice, there's only 2 hose in here and there's supposed to be 3 at this point. I think the problem is sometimes there's not 2 updates when it tries to grow. So right there, yep, that time it works. So now there's 3 hose in there like they're supposed to. So that means that there was a extra block update in growing the sapling. And then it reset perfectly. That time it worked, but the first time it didn't. Let's test it again. So that one it worked again, right? There's 3 hose inside of the system. All right, so to explain this problem a little bit better, we have 4 hose in here because it takes 4 block updates to grow a tree. When you plant a sapling, now there's going to be 3 in here. When we try to grow this sapling, it's going to cause another block update, so now there's 2. When we actually grow the tree, like that, now there's going to be 3 in here, like it's supposed to. And then when we harvest it, there's the 4th one and it resets the system. The problem is every once in a while, it only takes 1 block update to grow the tree instead of 2. Actually, I bet it's the dropper that can't keep up. And what I mean by that is when you're growing the sapling, it goes from like, it'll be in the almost growth stage to the fully growth stage. And I think that can happen in the same tick sometimes. And so then the dropper can't keep up when that happens. Hey, you want to see something cool? Woohoo! It looks kind of like a kaleidoscope when you do this. I don't know if it shows up on YouTube, but try it on your own game. But check this out. We got it working 100% now. Haven't had it fail yet, and I've been testing it for probably about 20 minutes now. All I did was actually just slow down the clock a little bit. The only thing I want to do is make it so like at the very end there, it clicks like one last time. It'd be nice if I didn't have that, but it's also kind of nice because it's like, it's kind of like a sound reminder that you can replant safely without messing up the system. So yeah, this works pretty well. The end goal of this farm was to make it so that when you plant something, it grows automatically, but the dispensers don't stay on forever. It's like a smart system. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and move on to some building for today. We already did a lot of redstone stuff. So as you know, episode 25 is coming fast and we're going to be doing the world tour then. So I figured we should probably spruce up our storage room a little bit before that. All right, so I didn't like how this was unsymmetrical, so I went through and fixed that. And then I also updated the EXP dispensing storage thing where we store the EXP bottles. And so this is what it ended up looking like. Pretty good. It's pretty simple. You know, it still sticks out a little bit though. We couldn't move it back at all. Just the way it worked out. I like the sandstone columns though. I think they turned out pretty good. And I figured we should keep with the symmetrical theme. So I went ahead and built another one of these little structures on the other side of the storage room. And I was like, well, what should we put in this other part of the little structure thing? I had no idea, so I figured maybe we could put a mob there. And I thought this guy would be a pretty cool pick for that. So I set out to create a little room for him, but along the way I got kind of stuck trying to decorate it. And I was kind of curious as to what was back here, so I started to dig a tunnel and I actually ended up running into the redstone for the bamboo farm. I also spent some time finishing up the walls on the inside here. So finally I worked on the tunnel a little bit that led to the bamboo's redstone room. That just means we need to figure out something to do with him. Now that there's a tunnel where we were going to put him. But let's just check out what we worked on a little bit. I only spent about an hour on it. So I mirrored that over to this side, kind of like the little structure arch thing. I like the arch in the wall there, but it's a little bit out of place depending on the angle you look at. But it's something we can work on. I like the walls here, but they're a little jaggedy. So again, something we can work on in the future. But for now, they're looking a little bit better than just plain stone walls. Coming through the tunnel, we decorated it a little bit. Got like a random little anvil and just a pumpkin that I need to carve into a jack-o'-lantern still and a zombie head. And this leads up to the redstone room. We probably want resistance and regen for this. And then we also have our very rare totem of undying, which gives us a pretty hefty health boost.
Ouch. Ouch.
And welcome to your new home, little buddy. I hope you enjoy it. Try not to drown. It's only 1 block deep, so just stand up, I guess, if you fall in. So yeah, check that out. We got a little bit of a pond zombie now. He's pretty friendly. He's quiet though, so that's kind of nice. He doesn't really cause a disturbance. Since we're over here, I figured I should also upgrade our beacon a little bit. So now we have speed 2, which with our legendary gear here, which took us forever to accumulate, makes us like insanely fast. So let's just check it out. This is normal sprinting speed with our gear. And as we approach the beacon, it's going to be like warp speed. And activate. There we go. Oh my goodness. So much faster. Wow, this is insane. It's almost too fast, actually. Might have to revert to speed 1. All right, but what should we do now, guys? Any suggestions? Ooh, I got an idea. Let's try to get 4 chickens from 1 egg. So it doesn't actually damage the animals, so it doesn't count as animal abuse. Hey, get back here. Sorry, Miles. And we ran out of eggs. So I came up here to see if there's any more, but there weren't. I do want to remind you that if we were to get 4 chickens from 1 egg throw, then next episode we would go to the end. It's just like that silly little tradition we started a while ago. It's just kind of for fun. It makes it so that we don't speed through the game too fast. But anyways, let's get started. Wow, I'm so fast with the speed too. Let's get started working on this room a little bit. I popped this wall out a bit. I think we're going to make this like a little bit of an entrance and exit for our base. And I want to clean up the redstone room. Down below here, these chests will lead into compost bins. So if you put like seeds in here, it'll turn it into bone meal, which feeds into the bamboo farm we have right here. I want to move the composter part though up to this room and maybe build a little compartment for it, just to make it a little bit cleaner down there. All right, so I put some work into this room off camera and it's coming together a little bit. Something I don't like is the spruce and the birch again. It's becoming a bit overused, I think. But I'm going to keep going with it for now, and we can switch it up in a little bit here if it doesn't look good. I'm going to build the little bone meal generation machine over here. It's going to be really compact and easy, so it shouldn't matter. And I think, oh, I fall. I think we can also build the chests up to like maybe that height so that we have more bone meal storage. That might be a good idea too, thinking of the long term here. So which of these 4 items is out of place and needs to be removed? Now I know what you're thinking. It's very obviously a zombie head, except you're wrong. It's actually the banner. And we're going to replace it with the jukebox. And I think something that would really help pass the time by would be a good old record. So let's get that going. All right, let's check it out. We made quite a lot of progress in this build. To start with, I really ended up deciding to use spruce and birch, which is a little bit different than what we did down here, which is dark oak and birch. It's nice to have a little bit of a change in color palette though, makes it feel like a different part of the base, which is kind of what we're going for. This room right here is just basically a giant arch, and then it has some cabinetry for decorations. So I managed to sneak in some armor stands and like a little fancy player head thing there from that data pack we use. Yeah, I like how it turned out. I want to add a honey dispenser back here, so you just press a button and you get honey, and then you can eat it as a little snack if you want. I just didn't have time to do the redstone yet. And then there's this room, which you're going to need to help me with this one. It was really hard to make. First off, the stairs don't line up with the arch, and I had them lined up before, but then the terracotta was in a 3x3 square here with upside down stairs for a border, so it didn't look good. So I moved the stairs over one so they match the floor instead of the ceiling, and it looks better on the floor, but it looks a little weird not lined up with the arch. Besides that, I think there might be too much brick in this build too. I think maybe we need to take down that pillar and that one. But something that is cool is we can actually use these shelves as decoration, and I did that by just making the trapdoors open outward instead of inward, so they're like on the other block there. So that's kind of cool. I was able to sneak a little decoration in here, and we'll have a skylight eventually. This little contraption here is where you can put like seeds and stuff, and it'll go into compost bins, which will eventually feed into the bamboo farm. So that's an easy way to get like bone meal and stuff. And then there's also like this little entrance thing we did, which we have our diorite and bone block pillars, kind of to match the rest of the outside base. It's just kind of the theme we have. I want to put an arch from there to that pillar on both of these, so there'll be 2 arches. It's going to be hard though, because it's at an angle. On our portal room way over there, we kind of did something like that, so I think we can make it work. That way it just kind of matches the rest of the base on the outside here. And finally, the last thing we really have to do is some terraforming. But I'm going to do that off camera in between episodes. But anyways, guys, we're going to end the episode here for today. I wanted to say thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We got quite a lot of work done this episode, which I'm pretty proud of. Especially here on the tree farm. This was a pretty big project, actually. It took me probably like 3 or 4 hours to kind of dink around with and get working the way I want. Next step here is going to be making a huge area where we can plant saplings to get more saplings, because right now this thing kind of chews through them really fast. Let me know what you think though about the little base addition we did today. It was definitely challenging and something I'm not really used to doing, so it's like a different theme than I'm used to. So any feedback would be awesome. Other than that, I wanted to say thank you for watching. Stay safe. Make sure to eat lots of good peanut butter. Bye bye.